Hi beauties, welcome back to my channel, Melanated Beauty. I am your host, Mercedes. I first want to thank everyone who's been watching my videos. I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it. All the newcomers that are coming in to watch my videos, like I told them before, just bear with me. I'm getting used to this, but I really appreciate everyone. I first want to start off by saying Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I know everybody's just getting started, trying to figure out what they're gonna cook, getting all their fixings, getting all their stuff for Thanksgiving. I am also, and I'm trying to lose this extra 10 pounds before Thanksgiving, which is coming. I'm gonna make it. We gonna make it, right? So I'm gonna make this happen, right? But I am gonna lose these pounds before I hit Thanksgiving, so I'll be able to eat guilt-free. And we all want to eat guilt-free, okay? But I wanted to come to you guys today because I want to talk about that Shaquilla Robertson story. So I know you guys probably have, a lot of people have been talking about it. It's been going on for weeks and we're getting update after update after update. But I kind of wanted to go back on the story and talk about it. I know if you haven't heard about it, I'm gonna start off with some little details about the story so you can hear about it, and then we'll just discuss it from there. Everybody's going with this story from different angles, and I have a couple of questions about my angle I want to come from with this story. So first, let me give you a background of the story, and then we'll go from there. So from what I'm hearing, Shaquilla Robertson was a young girl. She was like in her 20s, and she was from North Carolina, right? So she goes on vacation with a couple of her friends to Cabo to go have fun, think it's a fun trip. She really didn't want to go. This is what I'm hearing from the news and everything like that, like the story everybody else done heard. She really was skeptical about going to Cabo with this group of friends, but she had one best friend, which was supposed to be her best friend. He was a guy. He was telling her, convinced her to go on this vacation. So she went, okay? So on the day that they get out there on vacation, it seemed like everybody was fine. Everybody was having fun. It didn't look like no animosity was going on between anyone. It seemed like they were having fun, right? So they get out there a Friday, they go out, they have drinks, they enjoy themselves, they have fun. Saturday is when all of the events, crazy thing happened to her. So I guess from what we've been hearing, what we've been seeing, Saturday, she gets into an altercation with a couple of friends. They're videotaping. Her best friends videotape the incident, right? We're gonna talk about that because ain't no way my best friend gonna videotape me fighting. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, so her best friend, he's sitting back and he's videotaping the fight. She is getting beat up. She's not fighting back. And he's in the background. He's saying, Quilla, are you going to fight back? And all she can say is no. And you can barely hear her say no, right? And so she's not fighting back. She's not doing anything. They're beating, when I tell you they're beating this girl up, they are beating this girl up. But from the video that has surfaced, we only see one girl's really fighting her, right? But come to find out later, another girl also was in on it and fighting her too. But anyways, so from the fight, she ended up passing away, right? So the best friend calls the mom when they figure out that she wasn't moving, she wasn't responding or whatever. The best friend calls the mom and tells the mom she has alcohol poisoning. She's sick, okay? He's calling the mom, say she's sick, she's not feeling well. The mom is like, okay, well, just keep me updated, keep an eye on her and let me know. A few hours later, he calls back and tells the mom that she has passed, okay? So they leave. The friends, they leave Cabo, right? From what we hearing, the first of the story was they go and they leave. They take her bags with them. They ended up charging $10,000 on her account. Yes, $10,000, because it seems like she was the only one who had money, because she was a business owner, and so she was very successful in her businesses. So, and she paid for most of the trip. So I think everybody's thinking like her card was on the Airbnb, but we don't know. Okay, so they charge $10,000 to come back here. They take her bags with her. They leave her in a hotel and come back to the United States. Once they get back to the United States, now this is her best friend who came up with the lie, which is the guy, and then it was like 2 females too. And I think everybody who went on the trip, it was 2 females from what I saw. I think it was like 2 females, including her, which makes 3. And then it was her best friend, which was a guy. And then it was another guy. And then, so I think it was like 6 people all together. Okay. From what I hear. But it's so many versions of this story out here, y'all. It's crazy. But this is so sad. So sad to me. So she passes away in Cabo. They leave her in Cabo. They come back. Her best friend makes up a story to her mom. He comes. The girls come with him. They sit down. They tell her mom the story. Her mom telling, she had alcohol poisoning. They tried to get her help. They couldn't. And she passed. Now, this is what they tell the mom. The best friend goes there to the mother house. They said like 4 days continuously checking on her, trying to act like he's the best friend, right? Because nobody else knew what exactly happened, right? So the autopsy report comes back, and when the autopsy reports come back, now the father says that he got the autopsy report because he had to get her body shipped from Cabo back to the United States. Once he got the body shipped back from Cabo to the United States, that's when he found out that she did not pass away from alcohol poisoning. Shaquilla didn't pass away from alcohol poisoning at all. At this point, everybody is thinking she passed away from alcohol poisoning. That the father, he had enough money to get her body shipped back to the U.S. And once her body was shipped back to the U.S., they did the autopsy report, and he finds out that she did not pass from alcohol poisoning. The autopsy said that she didn't have no alcohol in her system. Okay, crazy. So, and he said he also saw, bruises on her face, busted lip, black eye. So he knew that it wasn't from alcohol poisoning, right? Since then, when an autopsy report came out, no longer did we see the best friend. No longer do you see nobody. Everybody shut down the internet. They shut down everything, and they're gone. Okay. All of a sudden, the tape surfaced because her best friend was recording a fight. The tape surfaced, and then that's when we see that Shaquilla got into an argument, got into a fight. They were fighting her. She was not fighting back. So that's when it come out that everybody was like, okay, she passed away. I kind of want to stop right there before I go into deep, because after this, then you find out more and more and more details, right? That comes out, and we still having details come out daily. The first thing I do want to say is you have to know exactly who are your friends. This was so sad to me because this girl really thought that these people were her friends. And even if she didn't think that the girls were really her friends like that, she thought that she had a best friend because the guy, she had been knowing him for 5 years and since high school. So she really thought that he was her best friend. He was going to protect her. And everybody, we know, we have a best friend. We're thinking, oh, that's my best friend. She going to protect me. He going to protect me. I'm not thinking he going to be scandalous to me. I'm not thinking he going to set me up. I'm not thinking none of that. And to find out that the one person that you confide into the most sat there and set you up. Because to me, sound like the story, it sounds like a setup to me. And the reason why I say that is because if my best friend convinced me to go on a trip with other people that I probably know, but I probably know they probably necessarily don't mess with me like that. And I'm thinking, okay, if I'm gonna go on this trip and you as my best friend are telling me to like, yeah, come on this trip, trying to convince me to come on this trip, I'ma go, because I feel like, okay, even if these people try me, you gonna have my back, you know. And to find out that that person that you've been on since high school, 5 years, gonna sit there and set you up like that, because to me it was a setup. And the reason why I say it was a setup is because if you convinced me to go on this trip, I'm trusting you that we're gonna have a good time. When they got out there, everybody was having fun. It was no animosity, and it seemed like it was no animosity. They was hanging out, having fun, whatever. The very next day, now it's a problem, and it's a problem with me. And then all of a sudden, now it's a problem with this girl, with Shaquilla. Now all of a sudden it's a problem with her, and they want to jump on her and they want to fight her. Now, people say that she was not the type of person that will fight. And that's why I say it was a setup, because I felt as though they couldn't get her by herself. A lot of times, if you are a person, if somebody want to fight you and they are fighters and you are not a fighter, a lot of times you probably have people that you're always around, and they're always around you and not gonna let you fight, or they will fight for you, right? I mean, we all kind of have people like that. If we ain't gonna fight, somebody gonna fight for us, like, here, point blank. So they probably knew that they had to get her by herself in a place to even come at her. Now, we don't know why they wanted to come at her, but that was a setup, because I felt like from the jump, they knew that, okay, we're gonna confront her while she's on this trip, and because now we have her, and we have her by herself. And to have your best friend right there, he is not a best friend to her, because if that was your best friend, number one, he wouldn't have been recording the fight. That's number one. Number two, even if he would have said, okay, it's a one-on-one fight between you and these girls, he's gonna let it be a one-on-one fight, and he's not gonna sit here and let them jump on you. Number three, and if anything, if he see you not fighting back, guess what? He's gonna break it up. He or she is gonna break that fight up. There's no way. So he was more of a friend, and he was friends with both of them. So he was more of a friend to them than he was to her. And that's scandalous. I just felt that is so wrong. And I wanna come with that first, to say, like, we really have to check who we hanging around with, who we call friends, and those whole circumstances, because a lot of times we all have situations like that. We all hang out with certain people that we feel like is our friend, and then we may get into an argument about something, and then we not cool no more, right? Because I mean, I've been through that situation where I've had a friend and we were being close, and we've been knowing each other since high school, but over time we grow. Everybody grows up, and everybody goes through things, and I may change and you may change, and you know, we fight, or we get into arguments. You know what I'm saying? You may get into an argument with your friend, and sometimes you don't heal from the argument that you didn't got into. So say, like, if you're getting an argument with your friend about something, it can be about anything, about clothes, it can be a dude, it can be about job, money, whatever, right? You get an argument with their friend. If it's that deep, sometimes you don't completely heal from that argument, right? So if you don't completely heal from that first argument, then, you know, when you guys come back, and then you're like, okay, well, I forgive her, she forgive me, or whatever the case may be, or I forgive him, he forgive me, but in your heart, you really ain't forgave him. I mean, you forgave him, but it's like, I forgave you enough to kick it with you. I forgave you enough to hang out with you, you know, or anything like that. But okay, I didn't forgave you, but I'm knowing back in my head, like, yeah, you want some bull, right? So you really ain't forgave him. And a lot of times when it's not like that, and then you guys get into another argument, and another argument, and another argument, at some point, that friendship has been broken. It's been broken in so many ways. It's not as tight as it used to be. And now anything or anybody can come in between that and start issues or fight or whatever and cause that. And that's what I think that happened. I think that she knew, because it's other videos that have surfaced. Like, since then, it's been a video that has surfaced of like her, because when the first video came out in the fight, you saw the fight, she was naked. Shaquilla was naked. in the fight, right? She was the only person that was naked. Now a video comes out that, she's walking around videotaping, trying to find everybody. And that's why I say it's a setup again, because she's walking around videotaping, trying to find everybody, telling them, oh, it don't take y'all that long to get naked. It don't take y'all that long to get naked. And then when she finds everybody, they're in a room huddled up together and everybody's dressed. And it's like, so obviously y'all had a plan to like for people to get naked for whatever reason. I'm still trying to figure out what that plan was about, but it was a plan, probably a plan for everybody to get naked, to do whatever or hang out, whatever they was gonna do naked. And she probably was the only one that ended up naked, because they knew that this is a setup. They set this whole thing up. It's a setup, like clear as day, a setup. But it's a sad situation that, now I don't believe that they wanted to unalive her. I don't feel like that's what they wanted to do. I just feel like it went too far and nobody stopped the fight. So by the time they figured it out, then it was like, oh shoot, now what we gonna do? Nobody wants to go to jail, especially in Mexico, so we got to come up with a plan to do something. And if one person run off and tell, then they're like, oh, well, we for sure going to jail, and nobody wants to go to jail. And I just feel like it was an accident, but it was a freak accident that could have been stopped. But also, what I forgot to tell you guys is that also, so it was another guy. So the whole reason why they were going down to Cabo is because it was one of the other guy's birthday, right? So this guy says he was not there when the incident happened. He states that he came the day of the incident. So he states when everybody had left, everybody was gone, he flew in, and when he walked in, he saw her. And when he saw Shaquilla, she was unresponsive. But he said he called somebody for help. He called somebody to come. They was telling him that they was gonna send a female, but then a guy showed up, and then he states that he just thought she was drunk, and she really wasn't responding well, so he called somebody to come, and then they came, and right when they came, before they came, so he was rubbing her hand and playing soft music. Stop. Now, first off, he gets on live and says this himself. My first thought is, and this is before, now, mind y'all, the other people was not even talking then. He was the first one that said this. So I'm like, why would you come, if you caught her, if you came in that day and saw her in that predicament and you found out that she has now passed, why would you come on live and tell your side if nobody else told theirs? That to me is crazy, because if nobody else has said anything and you're trying to get on here to clear yourself, obviously, I think he should have thought that through, because then it makes it kind of seem like, well, number one, what you did was completely unacceptable. If you find somebody unresponsive, the first thing you should try to do, number one, check their pulse, make sure they breathing. If they're not, do CPR, call for help in the process of all that. That's what he should have done. And not play soft music and rub her head, because obviously she's in pain, she's unresponsive. What is soft music and rub her head is gonna do for her? Nothing. So that was wrong for you to even do. So even if you've done it, why would you come on live and say that you did that? And I'm hoping that before he came on live and said all this, that he had an attorney, because there's absolutely no way, if I was in that predicament and I flew in and I saw one of my friends unresponsive down on the floor and I didn't do the right thing and they end up passing away, I'm not going to sit here, come back to the U.S. and go on live and state that. Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. Somebody else is gonna have to state that before I come on live and state that. Most definitely. But this whole situation is horrible. I mean, day by day, it's more things coming up about her situation. It's more things coming out because nobody really knows who did what. All we have is a video, but you know, nobody knows exactly what happened. Right now, all the people involved are on the run. No, they can't find nobody. They can't find the best friend. They can't find the two females. Like everybody else was majorly involved. They cannot find them. They're on the run. Now the feds is into it. And the other thing which killed me about the story was the fact that it's the best friend for me. Because the other thing that kills me about this is that the best friend is the one. Now, this was said. The best friend is the one that came up with the story about Shaquilla. He's the one who came up with the story about, oh, we're just going to say she had alcohol poisoning and, you know, we're going to come and bring her bags and stuff like that to her mother. Like, that's crazy to me. That's if that's your best friend and you know something happened to her, how could you sit there? First of all, how could you even make up a story about her passing away and you know the right way that what happened to her? Like, how can you sit there and make a story like that? How can you sit here, sit in her parents' face, her mother's face, you know, sit there and tell that lie? Like, that is crazy to me. And right now we are living in a time where we have to have real discernment about things every single day, because if somebody can sit there and do that and say that they rock with you, they don't rock with you. They don't rock with you. And I mean, at this point, like, I've always been a very, very forgiving person, but at this point, I mean, I'm gonna still be a forgiving person because that's just who I am and that's just what I believe. But at this point, you have to really take heed to when things happen. And like I said, a lot of times, you know, you're friends with somebody and then y'all get into an argument or y'all get into a fight and then y'all really ain't forgave each other, but y'all still want to go and kick it with each other because they a good kick it partner. Or they, you know, they somebody that you can shop with real good. They somebody that you can party with real good. So you like, hey, well, I forgive you, you forgive me, so let's, because you want to get back to the party. Like, no. Y'all have to really, truly get through that situation to get back on track to where you guys want to be. Because right now, I just kind of feel like that whole situation could be eliminated if she would have just followed her first mind and her first heart and just did not go at all, you know. And so that story is so sad. I want to say rest in peace. Send all my condolences to Shaquilla Robertson, her family, and I hope and I pray that she does get justice, that they do find out what exactly happened to her, because all those people involved, because it was a setup. I don't care what